What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you the official base tour for the Synapse Stronghold 2.0. We did a bunch of cool updates to the base. It's a very similar build to the build that I had in the previous beta, but we had to change some things around. The location materials changed a little bit, the layout changed a little bit, and some new features were added that I wanted to take advantage of. So without any further ado, let's jump into it and show off all the new features. So right out the gate, as you guys can see, it's a very similar hexagon shaped base. And before we even go in, I know one of the #1 most asked comments, especially on last season's base tour video, was how do you build the base like this? And I did plan on making an entire video, probably in the Eternal Land, showing off from beginning to end how you build the foundations and whatnot using triangle foundations. However, another YouTuber who was inspired by my build actually went ahead and did that for me already. So instead of me doing my own, I just want to link to his video. So let's jump over to that. His name is Rev Brucifer on YouTube. Go check him out, show him some love. He was kind enough to give me some shout outs in the video, saying that he was inspired by my build in the previous beta, but in this one he went ahead and showed how to make the same base setup in the latest beta. So just go ahead, watch this video. I'll probably put a link to it down in the description, and he goes over from beginning to end how to build the base exactly, at least the core 6-wall foundation hexagon shape, exactly how I did it and how I have it in this video. There is a few features that he doesn't show off that are new that I'm going to be showing off in this base that are a little bit different, but it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you guys could figure it out once you get the main setup done. So feel free to go check him out, show his channel some love. It's already at almost 2,000 views, so a lot of people like this style of build. I'm glad people are enjoying it. But let's jump into the new and improved base. So let's go back to the game. So as you can see, we've got the main hexagon shape with the little alcove set up for our deviant room, which has been improved a bit. We also have the little star triangle outcroppings for all of our defensive turrets for when we do the cortex extractions. This wraps all the way around the entire base. And once we get to the back, you'll notice that there's actually an extended area that I'll get into in a little bit, as well as a little offsetted back entrance that you can go into. We do have a vending machine right out front now. This is a really good place to farm crude oil to make premium fuel for things like the Prime War. So things like acid and whatnot aren't as needed for us, so I like to trade some of that for potential fuel from the vending machine. So if you guys know this location, come by and check it out. But yeah, we've got turrets going all the way around, some sandbags, because depending on the tier of the cortex extraction, sometimes enemies like to bug out and teleport through walls, so putting a couple sandbags will prevent them from just instantly warping through. Honestly, we have another buddy in the hive that has pretty much an extraction-proof base built just for extractions that we do mostly. So his is even easier to defend, but this still can handle any tier defense as you need. We've got upwards of like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We got like 15 plus turrets on this base with how it's set up. And the only reason we're able to manage that is because we have some really good power management that I'll show off eventually. But let's head on into the Synapse Stronghold. So as you can see, we've got the same hexagon double helix staircase style build as we did in the last season. The one really good thing that made the change a little bit easier for this new updated build is we no longer have to put all of our kitchen and refrigerator and stuff in an outside area, kind of where we had the cafe last time. We can keep it on the bottom floor and keep it within the main base as needed, because the deviations are a lot easier to maintain now, and the heat and coldness temperatures don't penetrate through walls anymore, so it works appropriately, so you can put things where you actually want it to. So we've got our kitchen down here with a little container for salt and spices like the masala and oil and things like that. Maxed kitchen set. Got our refrigerator. Here we've got a bunch of refined ore, salt, more raw ore. We've got a bunch of mining facilities that can get ore like crazy running, so we constantly get tons of ore. I've moved the base like 5 times. We did have a entire section there where it was all star trace ore, because I was pumping Star Trace ore from a previous location. So we had a ton of that. This is where all of our logs are. And I think we have one for our sulfur. And the reason why we have a whole bin just for sulfur is because I was lucky enough to get the sulfur alchemy attribute, which allows you to convert sulfur into acid using the synthesis bench. So that is another reason why, as you can see, we have 3 advanced synthesis benches in here, because a 99 stack of acid takes almost 8 hours to convert. So the more that you have, the faster you can pump that acid out. I did have a water pump set up in a polluted zone and was farming acid that way. That is another really good way to get acid, but it actually wasn't as fast as this method. So once I got this perk, I moved the entire base back to this oil fields area because it was just a little bit quicker and a little bit more efficient. But moving on, we have our upgraded disassembly bench, which has some bonus perks because of the random rolls. Our wish machine, maxed out tool benches. And then we have, as you can see, a new door here called weapon testing. Open up this, and I made a cool little weapons room, a little firing range to test all of our builds. You guys got a sneak peek of this when I showed off my shrapnel build, which, by the way, I do have an update for. I've been chatting with a few other builders on the Discord and through DMs, and I think we've come up with a little bit more of a refined and improved version of my shrapnel build that I made a video for. So I'll be sure to do an improved update video on that so you guys can get even more damage with that build. I do want to make a Frost Vortex build, potentially a Surge build, and a Fast Gunner build as well, because I just unlocked some really nice gold weapons for that. So keep an eye out for those videos in the future. But got different range test dummies, close, medium, and far range. If you want to use snipers, you can do that. So cool little testing area here, as well as some side doors to get to the outside edges of the base a little bit more easily. While I'm out here, I can show this off. We've got 3 automated miners running. This area is filled with tungsten ore and stuff like that. So we have 3 of them going to mine some really high-end materials pretty much infinitely. So we can stock up on all the tungsten ammunition we want. I also have a perk that makes the crafting of higher level tungsten ammunition more efficient, so we get a higher yield. So we can get pretty much all the tungsten ammo we need at a very low cost. So I got 3 of those running. This wraps around to the back side of the base. I'll go over what's up there here in a minute. And then, as you can see, the only perk for power that I was able to get, bonus perk, was for the hydraulic ones. It allows me to have 7 generators instead of 6, and boosts the efficiency of them by 10 watts. So these are now basically the equivalent strength of a deviant generator, and I can have 1 extra. I also keep my 2 electric eels running, so that can get these upwards of like 50 plus watts piece for 2 of them at a time. But we're sitting at over 300 available wattage to use for the base across these 7 hydraulic generators, which is really nice. Moving on, we also have a little launch pad, air draft pad, to easier access to the farm area, which I guess I can show off next. Those launch up to this, and this is our new farm, which, as you can see, I've been growing some onions, hoping to get some deviated versions to try and get that grumpy onion deviant. It's one of the only ones left that I'm missing. I can actually go and pull these up. I'll be sure to go and plant some more again once these are all finished. Got a random tulip in there. Cucumbers. This was the setup for the old acid farm. As you can see, we've got a bunch of acid still in there because I had a ton of polluted water that I was still converting. But we had 6 automated water pumps running. Those were going to a water pump generator that pumped it from the ground up to the osmosis purifier. For drinking water, I have 3 rain catchers. That's the only way I personally can get drinking water without having to manually pick it up from a river. So I do that as well, just to get some extra purified water for the sprinkler. Honestly, though, I don't have to worry about it because we've got 2 other people in the hive, and they usually hook me up with water. They'll come in here and just drop 100 stacks in here for added water conversion for all of the stuff we want for brews. But this is another option for acid if you want. Let me know if you guys want to see a video on the water pump variation of acid farming. It is another really good alternative route if you don't have that sulfur alchemy talent. But as you can see, we've got tons of acid in here that have been stacked up over time. But yeah, this is the new farm. Got 2 grow lamps. I haven't tested if the shelving units work. I kind of didn't bother because I based it off of a commenter from my previous farming vid where I did the 3-stack cube using the metal shelves. From what they told me, that the water sprinklers don't penetrate through all 3 floors anymore, so that's why I didn't bother with it. This is honestly the latest edition as well, so I need to build this out a little bit more. This is kind of just a work in progress. We also have the Buzzy Bee out here because that obviously, as you know, can help the deviant generation of your crops and help them grow a little bit faster. So that's why I've got that one out there. All the other deviants will be in the base. But let's move on in. So now we are actually on the 3rd floor. We've got the Glitch Gang farm now, it's called. GG farm. This is our little domicile area on the 3rd floor. We've got 2 of the maxed out beds. So sanity and health regen as fast as possible here. With just an aquarium and some cool other random decorations in here. Moving on down to the 2nd floor. This is my favorite floor. A lot of other people's favorite floor as well. This is the new deviant room. Unfortunately, there is more deviants now than your allowed cases. I think 20 or 21 containment facilities are the max that you can make. So I won't be able to show all of them off at once, and I still am missing 2 of them right now from the LEA labs. And actually the Treant boss, I haven't gotten around to beating him yet. But that's the next thing on my docket, honestly. But we've got all of them in here. I won't go and show them off because I do plan on making a new updated Ultimate Deviant guide to show locations, how to take care of them properly all in one place, and how to efficiently set them up so that they take up the least amount of room as well, and kind of group them accordingly with ones that have matching traits and matching likes. So I'll be sure to go over that in a future video. But this is the new Deviant room. Looks really cool at night because of all the colored LEDs. Moving on to the top floor. This is our basically command center where all our power management is. We've got open windows, so we just have a bit of a more scenic view looking out from the area. Defensive turret, because this is also our resonator room for the base. So we hide our resonator in here when we're doing cortex extractions, as well as a chest to keep all of our different cortexes in there. Again, like I mentioned, our buddy has a more optimized base just for extractions, so we usually take all of our extra cores over to his base, but still perfectly viable at this one too. I've run a bunch of them solo when he wasn't online, and they worked perfectly fine. The defense is held up with no problem. As you can see, total base power 314 watts. And then over here, we have strategically managed all of the power with switches and labeled them accordingly. So we have the farm, that's 72 watts total. That will cover everything that needs to be powered over in the farm area. And I can turn that on and off with the switch of a button. We have our 3 mining drills, that's 45 watts because they're 15 watts apiece. Those are the mining drills that you saw down on the outer perimeter of the base. Moving on, we have our defensive turrets. This is a big one. It's only 98.4 watts. This would be upwards of like 130 plus watts, but I actually have a perk that makes all of my shotgun turrets do more damage and be 30% more power efficient. So they actually don't cost, instead of like 6 or 8 watts, they only cost like 4.2 watts to power for the shotgun turrets. And I have half shotgun, half rifle turrets. So all of the shotgun turrets are a little bit more efficient. That's why it's a little bit lower power consumption. But again, all hooked up to a switch. I can turn that on and off, turn it off, get all of that almost 100 watts back to use for everything else in the base that I want. And then if we want to do an extraction, I turn off everything else, one button, power up the turrets, and then all the turrets will power on. So really cool there. And then this one is, I'm just calling it always on. These are like the core things in the base that I just have to have running at all times, like the refrigerator, the stove, the furnaces, and down on the first floor. That type of stuff takes up 19 watts, the vending machine, things like that. And those are all connected on their own line as well. So that one always stays on, but these 3, I can just, with a click of a button, turn them on and off and efficiently manage all the power within the base super easily. So that is the command hub in the resonator room. And then last but not least, if we take these stairs to the roof, I have my garage, because you don't actually drive off of it with this particular one. So I put it on the roof because you don't need it on the ground. I do have the blueprints for the medium and the large scale one, but I am very low with this build on structures that are remaining. I'm almost at the 700 cap. So we just use the medium garage and large garage at my other buddy's base because he's got more room. And then I have my two refineries for when we're making fuel. We are working on re-rolling to get the upgraded refineries so you can get some premium fuel a little faster. For those of you that don't know, you can also get fuel if you're on a PvE server from all of the little extraction areas within certain towns. That's another great way to get premium fuel. You can get like 10, 15 plus per person. If you get a whole group going, you can get a lot of fuel that way. And you need the premium fuel. The reason why we're getting the premium fuel is for those prime wars. The biomissiles take like 25 plus premium fuel a pop to make just one of those missiles, and those are key to taking down the enemy shields for those prime wars for the big bosses. So that's kind of where we're at now, and the end game is managing all of the fuel economy. So yeah, this is a little extra chest to store our crude fuel and the temporary fuel, premium fuel, for when we're gearing up for those prime war battles. I had this set up with the 6 panels here because before I got the hydraulic generator, I was using the solar panels, and like at the previous base, I had the solar panels on the roof, so it looked kind of cool. But now it's just a fuel area. So that's pretty much it. Got the water storage tanks on the top. Nice little view, 360 all the way around. I did just unlock the cool street lamp posts that we had, like the compound lights. That I want to put in all these corners again, because those did look pretty cool, but they're kind of buggy in the beta right now. They flicker on and off for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that is pretty much the build. The other benefit to having the generators and the farm area poking out into the water, that was actually intentional. One, obviously, because the water generators have to be in the water in order to work, but also the deviants during Cortex essence extractions, they can't spawn in the water. So having my pumps and my generators in the water and that part of the base in the water, I never have to worry about enemies just randomly spawning there and destroying my structures. So all of the main turrets, the powerful turrets, and stuff that actually matters are all going to be on the front of the base, and the enemies really only spawn in the front. I actually built right on this little island, so there's not too many places that the enemies can actually spawn, which is nice. But yeah, that is pretty much the new and improved base. We can see if I can go into build mode here, go into the sky view, see if we can get a cooler view. I also have that aerial launch pad on both sides, so you can get up to the farm on either side more quickly. And as you can see, even though we're using these stone structures, the outside is all white. That's because I like to flip the walls backwards so that the cool black and white stripe is on the inside. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing, if you will. So yeah, got the lift pads there. Nice little aerial view. But yeah, that is pretty much the new and improved base. As you can see, I actually forgot to mention this, but when you go out from the farm, I did add a walkway all around the second floor, so that's also handy when it comes to doing the base defenses. I didn't have this in the previous build. I only had the little outcroppings, which you had to jump between. Now we do have a full 360-degree walkway in the dead center of the base, so you can run around full 360 and just shoot down on any enemies that might be coming, which is really handy. And as you can see, the turrets just lined up all the way around for defense. Super nice build, super efficient. Power management is great. It's all tight-knit. It's tall but small. Yeah, it's a smaller foundation size, so like you see some of these places, I don't like having these huge wide blueprints like this for bases, because you have to like run around everywhere to get to your like workbenches and stuff. With this particular style of base, I like it. And it took a little while to come up with something that worked in the way that I wanted, but it's nice because you can fit everything you need, but each level is a nice compact enough area to where you can just instantly walk to each little device that you need to interact with really quickly. You don't need to run all over the place, go upstairs to multiple rooms and stuff like that. So really, really nice layout. Again, if you want to learn how to make this base, feel free to check out Rev Brucifer's video. I'll put that link again down in the description for you guys to check out. He goes over how to make the main core of it, and you guys can update it and customize it however you want from there. But yeah, that is pretty much the build. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback. And as always, if you want to keep up to date on all my future content, we've got a lot more Once Human videos coming here. Should be back to back to back over the next few days. Consider subscribing and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of the updates. And then last but not least, if you want to join a community of like-minded gamers, feel free to check the links down in the description and join us on the Discord. We have hundreds of players in there now, many of which are playing Once Human and looking for people to party up with. So hopefully you guys join up and we see you guys around sometime. But then until the next one, hope everyone had a great day, and we'll see you all later.